Picture a teenager running a custom streetwear brand out of their bedroom. Orders are flooding in, boxes stacked to the ceiling, and business is booming. But no matter how perfectly they run that bedroom empire, the reality is that the ground outside is constantly shifting. Unpredictable forces can roll in and disrupt even the best laid plans. In business, we call these external factors. These are events completely outside a company's control that directly impact its success. They can bring sudden windfalls or massive headaches. To make sense of these wildcards, businesses use a helpful acronym, PESTEC. It stands for political, economic, social, technological, environmental, and competitive factors. Today, we're looking at the first three. Think of a business like a surfer. The surfer can't control the size of the waves or the pull of the tide, but to stay upright, they have to constantly adjust their balance. The first wave is P for political factors. These are the rules of the game set by the government, forming decisions, laws, and taxes. For example, the government might decide to raise corporation tax, which is a tax on a company's profits, or increase value-added tax on products. Either way, those decisions directly reduce the cash our streetwear brand gets to keep. Lawmakers can also introduce a higher national minimum wage. Overnight, the cost of paying the teenage warehouse employees packing those hoodies goes up. New health and safety legislation can also drop out of nowhere. The business has to pause operations and spend time and money training its staff to comply with the new rules. And then there are major shifts in political stability. When the UK voted to leave the European Union, the trade rules for dealing with EU customers changed, creating a new maze of restrictions for local firms. Political factors set the legal boundaries. They dictate the direct costs and the exact framework a business must operate within. Next is E for economic factors. These represent the overall health of the nation's wallet, which determines how much money customers have to spend. When everyday prices rise across the country, a situation known as inflation, teenagers have less spare cash. Buying luxury custom sneakers becomes a lower priority than buying essentials. This chart shows the exchange rate of the British pound. When the line drops, the pound becomes weaker. As value drops, the cost to import raw materials spikes. The business pays more to produce the same shoe. Even a strong economy brings hurdles. If unemployment rates drop very low, businesses have fewer workers. They have to offer much higher competitive wages just to convince someone to walk through the door and take the job. Economic factors hit a business from both sides. They can empty the customer's wallet at the exact same moment they make producing a product more expensive. The S stands for social factors. These are the shifts in how customers live, what they value, and how they spend their money. Tastes and trends are always in motion. If a major influencer suddenly decides that chunky sneakers are entirely out of style and oversized hoodies are the only acceptable look, customer demand swings instantly. Lifestyles evolve too. As more people shifted to working from home, they traded in stiff office clothes for athleisure, driving a surge in comfortable clothing. Then there are demographics, the actual makeup of the population. As the population gets older, brands that only cater to teenagers miss out on a massive group of older customers who have a significant amount of money to spend. Social factors dictate cultural relevance. A brand must track these shifts and pivot its product line, or risk being forgotten by the market. Back in the bedroom empire, our streetwear founder feels the squeeze. New taxes, expensive raw materials, and fickle fashion trends are piling up. But instead of folding, they adapt. They absorb the new minimum wage, start buying fabrics locally to avoid the weak exchange rate, and quickly design a new line of cozy work-from-home wear. A business cannot control government laws, the global economy, or social trends. While internal quality is vital, long-term survival hinges on a business's ability to recognize these external waves and learn how to ride them. We've covered the first half of PESTEC. But what happens when the machines take over, the weather turns, and rival brands start copying your designs? We'll tackle